Hello, Norwood superstars! We are back with another video edition of today's Norwood News newsletter, our weekly newsletter published on Fridays of every week. Today is Friday, May 7th, 2021. So, as always, let's get started with the latest news and upcoming dates. We're going to start with Wednesday, May 12th is an asynchronous day for students. Asynchronous meaning working independently, no live classes except for maybe a morning meeting with their teacher, any work with the specialist or arrangement that they have with the teacher, and their specials class that they have that day. And then Thursday, May 13th is no school for students, even though it is a work day for staff. It is a professional development day for teachers. So no school for students on Thursday, May 13th. And remember the school hours for arrival and when you log in virtually and the pickup time as well, as noted here. Now let's get into the progress reports, which are basically the report cards for students who are younger in grades pre-K and kindergarten. Progress reports are going to be available through the Focus portal. So by now you should be aware of how to use this Focus system. You just click on the link here that we have in the written version of the newsletter, which will be included in the description of this video. And the link is going to allow you to log on to the system. You just have to follow the instructions by either clicking on this written guide that we have here, or you can just watch this video. And you can also check the links below in the description of this video. It'll be all included there as always. Now, we're also going to be talking about student materials and supplies to bring to school. We are expecting students who are just starting, because there's going to be a lot of them that are starting for 4-day-a-week learning on Monday, May 10th. And so for those of you who are already here and you already have what you need here, that's fine. But for those of you who are starting soon, you may want to pay attention because there are several workbooks that we want you to bring just for the first day, because you are to leave them here in the school. You don't have to be bringing them back and forth. Just bring them for the first time. Now, these are not all the books you have to bring. These are grade level specific. So we showed you visually what they look like for all grades, and they are identified clearly by grade. And for the ones that don't have in red what grade, you'll see the book itself in the bottom corner, as you can see with the red arrow, tells you which grade, and it's color coded. So just pay attention to which particular books for which grade of your child they need to bring in specifically when they come in, and that's it, and they can leave them here. And if your child for whatever reason does not have one of these books that they need or should have, or they've lost it or whatever, just let us know, and we're happy to get you another copy if we happen to have one available. So just be aware, these are the different materials that we want them to bring in addition to their charger, their computer, and their backpack. Now, Miss Julien has a really interesting social worker corner edition for you, and we're not going to go over it because it's actually a recipe. So you can watch, or you can, you can read the written version of this newsletter and just follow the instructions for what she's basically using to do is to create a calming jar. And it's also known as a glitter jar. So what she's talking about is that they are discussing the red zone. Remember how the green zone is the area that you really try to be when it comes to your social emotional awareness and learning, and those different zones of regulation for emotional regulation. Well, the red zone is when you have a little bit more heightened and aggressive emotions. And it's really important for children to know how to manage themselves when they are in that level. I mean, adults need to know this too. And it obviously takes practice. So there are plenty of adults who sometimes struggle with this very same issue too. So it's not easy. It takes practice. So what she's saying is she understands, and as a result, she has made a lot of these calming jars with students and at home. And they're really easy to do. You just need some hot water, a plastic water bottle that's empty, or any kind of jar that you want to use, glitter of different types if you want to have just fine or both fine and chunky glitter, different colors to whatever your heart's content, and then clear glue. And then what you do is you just kind of mix all these things together following this instructions, and then voila. And there are some pictures here that you can click on to see a little bit bigger in the written version, and it just shows you basically what the ingredients are and how it comes together. And then at the end of the day, depending on what kind of jar you have, you end up with your glitter jars. And then you can move them around and see how it slowly oozes and shifts. And it's just meant to be something that you can use to calm down and refocus your attention when you're having difficulty getting back to that green zone. So this is a really important tactic, because it's important that you also teach them that this is not a toy. because if your jar is glass or it's heavy, you got to be careful. This is not going to be something that you want to hurt yourself with or you break and have it spill everywhere. So it's just meant to be something that you can shake back and forth or watch as it moves to help refocus your attention and get back to that green zone. So if you're a parent that's working through this with your child, invite them to sit next to you and near you so you can see how it gets put together and encourage them to do it, to move it around and see how it works, and establish sort of a routine so that when you actually have to pull it out and use it when your child happens to be in the red zone, they know what to do and they're familiar, and maybe that'll help calm them down. It's just a strategy or a tactic. It's not a be all end all necessarily. Now, speaking of emotional learning and zones of regulation, mental health is another important component. Now, in the previous week during my absence, we had talked about that there's going to be the Children's Mental Health Awareness Week with several events going on. Well, that has already passed, but it doesn't mean it's any less important. And you have to remember that 1 in 5 children experience some kind of emotional, behavioral problem or mental health problem. So it's really important that you try to look forward to doing continuum of ideas and activities that you can promote this awareness. And for the month of May, since it contains Children's Mental Health Awareness Week, you can look at this calendar to see the different events that they have or suggestions or tips or activities that you can share with your child throughout the month of May to just help foster that awareness and promote good mental health. So that's something that we want to include here for you guys to look at on your own time. And also, remember that there are new daily health screening forms for the month of May. Remember that every month we've been sending this out. You can print one out. You can click here and you can get your own copy. So if you have a printer at home, you can just print it out. And remember that this is only to be completed monthly. Even though you should be doing the daily health screening every day, obviously it's a daily health screening at home with your child before sending them to school when they get up in the morning. You're only filling this out once a month to just say that you are aware of this and you're going to do that. Now, at the bottom is the emergency contact list. So remember, if at any point you realize that you have to add someone to your emergency contacts, a friend, a neighbor, an older child that needs to pick up and not just you, and they're not listed in the student records, well, use this form to do that. There is normally a form that we use to do that, but you can use this because it has right there emergency contacts. And then you can just print out another one of these and send that in. We need your written consent when somebody new is going to be regularly, or at least more than once, picking up your child from school. That's for security reasons, and it's super important. So use this form even when you've already filled it in and turned it in for the month, if that's a situation that applies to you. Nurse Debbie just wants to update you about illness symptoms, and this is also very important. Now, if your child comes to school with just even one symptom of any illness, headache, sore throat, sniffles, anything, fever, they immediately need to see the nurse, so that they can distinguish whether it's some kind of illness or if it's allergies or some other health concern that doesn't apply. And then from there, families should monitor the student at home if they're sent home or if we just send a suggestion, and to just make sure you continue to do that screening every single day. Now, if your son or daughter comes with one symptom of ailment, what's supposed to happen is that you need to keep them home. If they're sent home, or you notice that when you do the daily health screening at home before they even come in, keep them home, let us know what's happening, and make sure that they stay home until their symptom has subsided, that you have not had to use any kind of fever-free medicine, like Tylenol to break it. So they just naturally, after 24 hours of having no fever, they should be okay to come back. Now, if there's more than one symptom of an illness present when you do the screening or when they are sent home, you're going to be advised that they stay home, but that you also consult your pediatrician or your child's healthcare provider so that they get tested for COVID-19. And then you're going to follow their directions. Be in consultation with your doctor or pediatrician and follow what they say about that. They should either report to the school and let the nurse know, or report results back to you directly as the parent. But either way, they will let someone know what the next steps are after that. And then we will need to know what they say or what the next steps are after that. So we appreciate your collaboration and your support with that. And here's a graphic that you can see on just just to visualize some of the different symptoms that you're going to be keeping an eye out for as we continue on with this pandemic to try to nip it in the bud. So registration for next year, lastly, It is still upon us. We are in full registration mode. Yes, you can continue to register for next school year throughout the summer or even beginning of the next school year, but it is most ideal to do before the end of the school year because staff is very limited during the summer. We only have our offices open and there's much less availability. So it's best to do it before then. Please do not wait to the beginning of the school year. If you already know that you need to register, it's just better to get this started at minimum and to get going sooner than later. And that is it for this week's edition. So glad to be back and hope you are enjoying the changing weather. And we are going to be in touch. So as always, keep on learning. And welcome back to all of our new in-person learners. Thank you.